Well, we got a new article up on CBSSports.com written by the one and the only Will Brinson. Brinson riling up some fan bases, ranking NFL teams headed for rough rides in 2023. Looking at the 5 teams who could see some serious struggles in the upcoming season. He's listing the Cardinals, the Bucs, the Titans, the Patriots, and the Raiders. Let's hear why. Let's welcome in the man himself, Will Brinson. Now, you're making some folks mad there, Brinson. Kicking off your teams headed for a rough ride in 2023, and we're starting with the Arizona Cardinals. Now, they finished with a 4-13 record last season. They have a first-year GM, a new head coach. It's not looking so good, right?
Yeah, I mean, so look, this one I actually don't feel bad about, Jenny. Most of these, it's full troll season. You know, everybody's optimistic. Everybody believes their team is good. Everyone thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl. Sure, like Browns fans, right? I mean, like a 3-toed sloth can count on one foot how many like winning seasons the Browns have had since '99, and they're mad if you say they're going to go 7-10. I didn't include them here for my personal safety purposes, but the Cardinals are the easy team to make this. They might have the first and second overall picks in the draft if Houston is terrible. Arizona 4-13 last year. They fire their coach. They fire their GM. They bring in Jonathan Gannon, who doesn't want to talk to the media. They bring in Monty Ossenfort, a GM, who, granted, did a lot of work in terms of trading for stuff, but also managed to lose the equivalent of an early third-round pick or a mid-third-round pick when he tampered hiring Jonathan Gannon. Kyler Murray has seen a precipitous decline, as you can see from the graphic, in his production over the last year. And now he's getting a defensive coach, and he's coming off a torn ACL and likely won't be ready to start the season. If he is, it would be a surprise. I think the bigger surprise would be if the Cardinals don't hold him out longer and maybe try to tank to get Caleb Williams or Drake May. This is an easy one. The Cardinals not headed in the right direction. And if you don't believe me, just ask DeAndre Hopkins, who has a list of things that they're terrible at in very passive-aggressive fashion.
It seems like the Cardinals are just in their own little category over there. So we're going to go to the other 4 now. So next up on your list of teams that you expect to struggle this season, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, there's still a lot to like about this roster, but of course, you got to be worried, Mr. Tom Brady being gone there.
Yeah, and look, I mean, part of this, too, this exercise, Jason La Canfora had done it last year, trying to sort of figure out which franchises might be headed in sort of the wrong direction long-term, but also maybe the long direction short-term. And I think Tampa Bay is more of a short-term team because Jason Light, their GM, has done a really good job with the roster. I mean, you got Pan for the Vita Vea selection, but that's worked out quite well. Antoine Winfield Jr. has been a really nice pick. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin at wide receiver, fantastic. They had to rework the offensive line. Ali Marpet retired. And of course, most importantly, Tom Brady, the greatest player in professional sports history, probably the greatest athlete of all time, decided to retire for the second time. That leaves him with Baker Mayfield on a single-year deal. It's really easy to see the Buccaneers going 8-9 last year and then saying, all right, let's see what Baker's got for a single year. And if it doesn't work out, and by the way, I don't think Todd Bowles is safe at all in terms of his seat and the warmth factor, particularly given how badly the offense looked last year with Bruce Arians gone. Like if this doesn't work out for them, they can go get Caleb Williams or Drake May. And then all of a sudden you can really reboot things in a division where, the Panthers just drafted Bryce Young first overall and the Saints added Derek Carr. But it doesn't feel like any team is necessarily set to step up and just take the mantle that the Bucs have had the last few years.
So maybe more of a short-term struggle situation with Tampa Bay. Yeah. All right, we got it. We're going to move on to the next one. Now, I'm a little bit surprised you're putting this next team on your list here, the Tennessee Titans. Yes, there's expected to be a little change in identity there, but why did they land on your teams headed for a rough ride?
Well, as I mentioned, JLC had this list last year, and it had the Colts and the Panthers and the Texans, and they all drafted quarterbacks in the top 5, which makes it kind of difficult. You have to really dislike a prospect to throw like a team in that drafted a quarterback in the top 5 in there. Like really, just you have to hate the prospects, as I wrote. Tennessee drafted Will Levis in the second round, and while Levis might end up being a really good selection there, and certainly Pete Prisco, who thought he would be the number 1 overall pick, might agree with that statement that Levis can flip this around. Remember, 7-10 last year. They fired their GM. They bring in Ron Carthen. Vrabel has a lot more say in personnel. The offensive line is very much in flux here. And Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill are in the final year of their contracts, respectively. So it's not crazy at all to suggest that this offense, which as you can see, went from 30 to 20 or 31 to 25 to 18 points per game over the last 3 years. Might take another tumble and then be in even worse shape because the offensive line is in complete turmoil and Derrick Henry is no longer on the roster. So this is a bit of a short-term and long-term. If the division were better, this would be an easy selection for me.
Or they might play out of their minds in their last year of their contract. We will wait and see with that one. All right, next
Fully
team.
prepared to look like an idiot, Jenny.
I'm ready for it. I'm going to clip this one off. All right, next team on your list expected to struggle this season, and this one, just pulls at the heartstrings a little bit, but I get it. The England Patriots there. Belichick, of course, still at the helm, but they're bringing in Bill O'Brien. He's coming back. And really, you think about it, really a tough division for the Pats.
Hey, but at least you got the Celtics, right? Hey, I'll see myself out. Yeah, right. I think certain broadcast network still gives them 97% chance to win the division or to win the Eastern Conference Finals. Excuse me. The thing about Boston sports fans is no one feels sorry for you. You have 6 Super Bowls, a bunch of NBA titles. The Bruins got swept, or not swept, but they got knocked out in the first round. But whatever. Point being is, Boston sports fans have won a lot lately, and now the Patriots, 43 and 44 without Tom Brady on the roster. They haven't been very good. I'm, again, fully prepared to look like an idiot this year, fading the greatest coach in the history of football, professional or otherwise, in Bill Belichick. But when you look at a couple of things here, one, the offense hasn't been very good since Tom Brady left. Mac Jones was pretty good in his rookie year. Horrible last year. I fully expect Bill O'Brien replacing Matt Patricia and Joe Judge to cause Mac Jones to get much closer to what he did in 2021 than what he did in 2022. No doubt about that. But the division here is the problem. The Bills have won it 3 straight years. They look like they're going to be exceptional again in 2023. The Jets just added Aaron Rodgers. And if Tua Tagovailoa stays healthy, the Dolphins are going to be a problem as well. The Patriots are 10-1. To win the AFC East. That's crazy to think about, but it is reality. And I think it's fair to say, if they struggle again this year, Patriots fans will be asking questions about Mac Jones, and they'll be asking questions about Bill Belichick, who is still just like 18 games away from tying Don Shula. It would be a little interesting if he didn't have a winning record this season.
Oh, we'll see how that one ends up. Man, Patriots fans, I didn't realize they were under 500 without Brady. That's crazy when you think about it. All right, last but not least, we got the Las Vegas Raiders, and we can also call them Patriots 2.0 at this point. There's so many ties between those two teams. Anyways, the Raiders rounding out your teams headed for a rough ride in 2023. So break it down for us.
Yeah, if you really want to be technical about it, Monty Ossenfort, the Cardinals GM, worked for the Patriots. Mike Vrabel coached or played for the Patriots. Excuse me. You have Josh McDaniels here. Tom Brady played for the Buccaneers, of course, and then the Patriots themselves, really just destroying all of New England. I am with this particular segment. They signed Jimmy Garoppolo, who was there as well, and Jacoby Myers, also of the Patriots. This is getting a little awkward. I think the bigger problem is when you look at the Raiders, you have a situation where this division is really, really difficult. The Raiders are going to have to play the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Broncos 6 times. They are 15-1 to win the division at Caesars. That should tell you something. Every single move they made, really, it feels like a 1 step forward, 1 step backwards, where they didn't quite do anything to get over the top or to take themselves and put themselves in that conversation with these other top teams, particularly the Chiefs. I think it's very possible that Tom Brady and the rest of the owners of the Raiders, because Tom Brady now owns a part of the Raiders, at least have to have an awkward conversation about Josh McDaniels after the year.
We were just talking about Jason Light there, also assistant director, player
former
personnel.
Patriots guy.
Yeah, there's just so many connections there. It's absolutely insane going on. Well, Brinson, I hope you don't catch too much heat for this article, because I have a feeling it might be coming your way a little bit. You can catch the whole article on CBSSports.com. And for more, tune into the Pick Six podcast. Our guys getting you up to speed each day in about 30 minutes with what's trending in the NFL. The latest pod, you got Katie Mox, Will Brinson, and John Breach discussing their 2023 division winners while assigning confidence ratings to their picks. Check it out today.